Elio guys, and welcome back. And in today's episode of Infinite Magicraid, we're going to be taking a look at one of my most favorite baby girls, aka Rosalia. And this is an actual review and spotlight because I actually have this character and can kind of show her off here. So let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So little briefing on Rosalia here. She is an attacker. She's also an epic, so she is naturally easier to build up versus a legendary here. And just a quick synopsis of her skills so I can kind of show her off at the same time. Her basic attack right here, gentle impact. If she crits, it does increase her turn meter as well, so it kind of helps speed her up in terms of turn order, which is a benefit. But honestly, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really do anything. I'll be real with you. I've used her through the entire campaign. It's nothing amazing as a basic attack here. But for her first skill, which is called Great Example here, this is where the money comes in. So if you guys have other like single target damaging units like Yoko or Sia, if you guys have checked out my definitive beginner's guide on the subreddit, well, you know what team I rock through the campaign. But just any unit that can deal like a high amount of damage, Great Example is great. Because yes, this move by itself is weak, especially for a single target move, but what makes it really nice is the 2-turn cooldown. And if we read right here, just ignore the damage because the damage, like I said before, is trash. It increases all allies crit damage by 30% for 2 turns. So as long as you have Great Example, off cooldown every time it pops up here, you're essentially giving your party a guaranteed 30% extra crit damage, which adds up, especially if you have a baby girl like Sia who already has concentration increase, which naturally boosts up her crit rate and crit damage. That's even more. And then you take that and you combine it with like the Slay set and subs.
That's a lot of damage.
This is an epic, so this is a character that anyone can build. Just FYI here. In terms of her passive skill though, Meditation, the first Holy Light burst released in each wave is guaranteed to land a crit, and meanwhile it also increases 80% more crit damage. So from my understanding with this move is that it boosts up the crit damage of that move, and Holy Light burst is basically her ultimate move, which is very handy as it implies at the beginning of each wave because of that guaranteed crit. But what's unique about that is that it's geared more towards a monster or a unit with more HP is when it's going to do most of its damage. So you want to get that off as fast as possible, but you'll see the technique I've kind of developed with Rosalia to hopefully maximize her damage output here. And then for her ultimate right here, which is called Holy Light Burst, it deals in between 300 to 400% of her attack damage to a single enemy. Obviously with books, the cooldown up here drops, and the more HP percentage the target has, the higher damage this skill deals. Very, very handy move for getting them like just in the HP threshold to do all kinds of damage right here. Going over exclusives really quickly here. Basically, Gentle Impact has a lot higher crit rate when it does activate. Rosalia also gets extra piercing damage, and then Great Example increases crit damage to a whopping 60% versus that 30%. So we have 60% crit damage applied to the entire squad. That's literally free damage right there, you guys. But going over my baby girl in particular, let's take a look at her equipment real quick. So I have her on not only a Slay set, but also the Wild set. So she's having a mix in between crit damage and also crit rate here because her crit rate is roughly at 65%. And then her crit damage is sitting at a whopping about 225%. So nothing super amazing right here. I'll just click on this and show you guys what she's rocking. There's no crit rate up there, which is sad, but I do have a crit rate roll right there and also a crit damage roll with some speed. This Slay set has crit rate up there and attack and HP, all good stuff that you would want. This Wild set really only has just attack up there, so bad rolls inside of this gear, which is unfortunate, but she is an epic, so I have to give my better stuff to my legendaries because, well, that makes sense. And then in terms of her artifacts, there's a crit rate artifact with some speed up there. There's a attack artifact with some crit rate up there and some HP rate, so kind of a nice balanced boost up there, even though I would love some crit damage. And then for our last artifact, which is a speed one, there's some attack rate, defense rate, crit rate, and also 2 rolls into crit damage. So with better rolls or just better gear in general, I could kind of tune her to be even greater than what she is, but at the end of the day, she's still an epic, which, well, she will always be an epic, unfortunately. But taking a look at her emblems here, this is just a mix in between the attack and defense set. I'm not really going to call these out because you guys can just pull up your emblem menu at any time and literally see what I have here. But I ended things off, of course, with that crack damage where it increases her crit damage by 24%. because we already have great example and we already have just her moves in general that if she crits, then she gets benefits from that. So with her critting all the time, or you trying to focus on her critting all the time, well, it makes sense to build up crit damage because that's the whole point. But let's go ahead and see how she works on the field, you guys. All right, let me turn auto off. So just ignore this. This is just Wham getting up damage here. And then we have Yoko too. I'm just switching her over to DPS mode. So here's where the money comes in. I understand like a lot of you may not have Sia, but you should have a unit at least very similar to this. I do believe Sana, by the way, is very close to Sia in terms of like her utility here. So if you have Sana, you can do the exact same thing, but this is geared towards players that are using more single target or AoE, just like pure damage units, versus using dots or debuffers. So if you have single target units here, consider Roselea at your own discretion, but like I said before, I don't have any regrets building her up. So in terms of Roselea here, due to her great example skill, this is a combo that you can use with any type of single target / AoE damage dealing unit here. So for Sia in general, I'm just going to go ahead and pop concentration increase. If you don't know what that move does, that boosts up her crit rate and crit damage, which, trust me, there's more. So here's Roselea. What you should always do with Roselea, even though her ultimate is tempting, it is guaranteed to crit, and we do get that additional crit damage from it. You want to go ahead and pop off a great example. Why? Because that goes with the entire party here. So as soon as she comes out here after Whim, Yoko could have got that damage benefit of the added crit damage. If not, I could kind of delay that by a turn and get that extra 60% crit damage, which makes sense, but this is only an example here. So we're going to go ahead and pop off with the great example here. Like I said, her basic attack and great example, even if it does have that added piercing rate and all that stuff, is garbage. But her ultimate and the benefits of great example is just 100% smiley face gaming. So we'll just have Yoko come over here and attack. Then we'll have baby girl Sia go ahead and hit these boys with a crit. And now it's time to go ahead and show off her ult. Look at that. So he had a shield up here, but keep in mind this dude is level 261 on the final stages of the campaign, and she is an ultimate that literally ate all his HP up. So he's already in a perfect range for another nuker like Yoko or Sia to come in and just go in for the kill. Essentially, you know, taking the most benefits from our single target DPS. We're getting the most mileage out of them because his HP threshold is now that low. In my opinion, that is the greatest thing about Roselea, especially in terms of just clearing out stages, is that you can whittle away these units with one blow here and then just have your other stronger units pick them off. Like, there's just so much synergy here with Sia. It's just smiley face gaming here. But let's see if we can get another ult off, and I'll let you guys go. Alright, so let's try this again here. We're going to go ahead and do great example. I'm just going to hit this Gunna in the back here, and we're going to try and focus on her in terms of Roselea getting some damage off, just to show you guys what she can do here. She does have that shield up. Let's see if we can break it real quick. Alright, so it did break, and then let's go ahead and do great example. Look at that. So it didn't kill her because her HP threshold was a little bit lower than what it should have been, with Sia kind of breaking through her shield here. But literally, once again, this is an epic unit almost one-shotting these monsters on the final stage of campaign. I mean, there's nothing more I can really say here. You know, this same type of setup can be brought into like the Tower of Mark. You have the faction bonds and pretty much anywhere else where you need her at, especially in the advanced arena. So you guys don't be scoffing at Roselea, because I believe she is a hidden gem. And once again, she's not a unit that I regret using whatsoever. It's just you applying strategies with the units that you have to maximize their damage. But hopefully this review and spotlight of Roselea helped you guys. And yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, see ya.